AGI won't take over until it's cheap. In December 2024, OpenAI demoed the O3 model, which showed a massive leap forward on the ARC-AGI benchmark. The model solved a set of tasks which are straightforward for any educated adult, but no other model has previously done well on. This demo was highly regarded as an impressive step in the direction of general machine intelligence, inciting a flurry of AGI soon tweets and Reddit threads. There's only one problem: the cost. The estimated compute cost of the 100 tasks is thought to be well over $1,000 per task, or hundreds of thousands of dollars for the entire set, more than the annual salary of the human labor such a model seeks to replace. These tasks are designed such that a motivated smart human could complete them in a few hours. If we assume a typical educated American knowledge worker earns about $50 per hour and spent 4 hours completing these tasks, that's $200, or roughly 1,000x less than the current O3 cost. This would suggest that those who are bearish on the prospect of imminent AGI disrupting the labor markets as soon as this year aren't just being Debbie Downers for the sake of pessimism. And that would be true if you ignored one fact. When GPT was first released in November 2022, the API price was measured in terms of dollars per 1,000 tokens. Now in early 2025, it's measured in terms of dollars per million tokens because the former has too many leading zeros. The cost has just fallen too far. There's been about a 100x drop in the cost per token in about 2 years. This equates to a 10x drop per year. So at that rate, the 1000x drop we need in order for O3 to be economic on the tasks we mentioned above is only about 3 years away. And there's reason to think it may be even faster than that. Moore's law for transistor density was proposed in 1965 and suggested that transistor density would double, and by proxy the cost drop, by a factor of 2 about every 2 years. This held for about 50 years until the mid-2010s when processes were approaching single-digit nanometers, or just a double-digit number of atoms across, so the true physical limits. Application-specific computing saw a much faster compute cost decline curve in the 2010s for training compute, where depending on the metric of improvements, the last 10 years was somewhere between 1,000x and 1,000,000x, or a doubling time of every 6 to 12 months. Initial 2022 language models have achieved their staggering nearly quarterly doublings via a combination of improvements across the entire stack, and are likely to do so several more times before all the low-hanging fruit evaporates. Reasoning models are an entirely new scaling dimension, absent from public-facing products until about 4 months ago, and a largely unexplored frontier at the institutional scale. With every frontier research lab now laser-focused on this topic, the barriers are dropping rapidly. Gemini, DeepSeek, and others are releasing models in pursuit of O1 and rapidly building up the products and evals to iterate and improve test time reasoning. OpenAI continues to be compute constrained overall, artificially reducing demand via expensive subscriptions, paving a path for others to dedicate compute to catching up, further incentivizing competition, innovation, and performance improvement. Chain of thought is, in one sense, a tree search over thought space, much as AlphaGo, AlphaZero is powered by policy models in the game move space in the same way. The best Go players on Earth were defeated not by computational brute force, but by embedding of intuition into a model which reduced the need for explicit tree search by orders of magnitude. In 2016, AlphaGo reduced the original 1997 Deep Blue tree search of billions of positions to only tens of thousands, 100,000x improvement, despite even having a less well-pruned tree to search. So too in 2025 are frontier research labs very likely hard at work building the chain of thought policy networks and hand-constructed custom data sets, which will improve reason efficiency by orders of magnitude, perhaps in as soon as a few quarters, but in worst in a few years. The rate limiting step now for reasoning quality is the capacity to generate tokens in search of finding the paths to good ideas. Policy models which improve this quality will cause a commensurate drop in required tokens and a proportional drop in cost. And all this isn't occurring in a vacuum, but in a world where all the previous cost drop trends are occurring as well. The hardware fleet is continuously improving. Pre-training data quality is improving. Inference infrastructure, eval feedback loops, objective result evaluators with no human in the loop, smaller vertical specific models, reducing the token cost, widespread adoption resulting in user feedback loops and better product ideas, and the alignment of entire research labs getting behind this goal. If anything, the 10x per year improvement within the past 2 years is likely an underestimate of the improvement to expect in 2025 and 26. Which is why all the chatter coming from the frontier labs lately is so bullish, even though the skeptics are updating their timelines as well, or finding new creative ways to move the goalposts. So we don't currently have AGI, but something sufficiently domain disruptive to affect some labor markets might not be that far away. And once we discover it, it probably won't be economically useful immediately, but the history of compute cost curves suggests that it won't be a barrier for long. When that occurs, plenty of other barriers in society exist to slow things down and delay its widespread adoption, but the reality is the same. Once it can be done, it eventually will be done, and we should all be preparing for the world where that's the case, for the when, not the if.